Ancient. Hidden.
That's
Forgotten.
just wrong.
This is Harbor Town.
Did you talk to Kirk? Do we know any more about release dates? for
Harbor Town is an all-new series
I think they're
from
waiting
Miniature
till after
Building
Gen Con.
Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique,
So,
flexible, and playable.
I had
Harbor
an
Town
idea
will
for
take
a
your
piece of
games.
terrain for hard beers, and you're setting up Harbor Town.
I can't wait for that, man. I agree 100%.
Well, I was thinking about doing a little piece of water terrain or low tide terrain and making. I'm trying to think what they call it now. The Ravager's Revenge or Ravagers.
Oh, where they kill the people?
Where they bury them up. To
Oh,
the
that's just wrong.
And I was just going to do like a little mud plane pieces with skeleton heads sticking out of the mud.
That's just that's disturbing. I don't know if I want to see that. That's disturbing, man.
It's just mud with skeleton heads sticking out of it.
There's something wrong with that. Oh, skeletal heads, not like living people like
Well, it could be a full head, you know. Ravager's Antler, maybe that's what it's called. I'm trying to remember now.
Harbor Town will be on display at the NBA booth at Gen Con. Great giveaway this Thursday.
I remember are our voices running over the intro?
It's okay though. It's just background music, man. It's not like it's a...
I remember in the write-up, they wrote up what the homunculi were doing and where they were at and what they had with them. There you go, protection from paralysis.
Right, which already exists as a...
Yeah, I was recommending third.
But that already exists as a spell.
But it's a cleric spell, right?
Yeah. Well, that's right. We discussed that. So...
And then Fomentarian Croaker. And I was thinking like Monster Hunter 2,
Wow, this is awfully loud, Tim. I can't hear it. Give me a second. The comet appears again, Tim. You should be scared. You should hide.
I don't believe in comedy.
Considering you started it.
What? None of my guys.
We're going to run it twice for Anna, since she said we're rocking it. We're going to run that one more time. We'll run that one more time. Rock it out. And Rox is on. We have to put this on for a minute. This one here. We have to put on this one for a minute. And then we'll skip that off this. This is gonna happen after Gen Con, guys, now, because it's just got so much going on, and we because I missed Thursday night, pushed things back. So I know Tim's very excited about trying to play in this one.
What's that?
Michael Batana's missing.
Oh,
Uh,
like Batana's missing and no one cares.
Hey, Bill, you know,
you guys are
we're
awful.
only getting a view of your eyebrows up, right just above your eyebrows up.
Yeah, I do that intentionally.
Oh,
I don't want to draw too much attention, but okay.
Oh,
I'll adjust it right now.
that is so awesome. All right. That's enough for that. Ryan's on. All right. So 2 topics tonight. As we come to the entrance here. Yes, you like that, Skagith? Skagith. Reaper has joined the fold. It's our 3rd sponsor. Thank you, Skagith. Hey, Jeff. Jeff has also got a sponsorship with Reaper as well. Yep, got some good stuff all going on with Reaper. Great company. And Bill's got a lot of painting to do.
I have a chariot.
Yes, right, Tim?
that's right.
I got one horse is almost done. One is about halfway done.
Well, we'll get to see that tonight.
That's one bad
They're
chair.
in the house. I didn't bring them out.
Oh, okay. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, they're actually the one I just did a watch on. I've got a garage.
Got lots of great announcements tonight. So as soon as that thing hits 7:30, I'll pop one. So yes, bards is going to be our topic for tonight. And everyone is like, well, we'll discuss that. And then customization of spells, which will be a cool topic in itself. As Skagith cheered before it's even on that page, so I'm going to have to. Okay, good. I can repop that up. So thanks, man.
I'm going to.
Tim's gonna love that discussion. I know he's hot for that. So
What discussion?
what on customization of spells?
Good.
That's a minute in. We can do this. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna run to my. I'm gonna run into my printer real quick.
All right, go ahead. Run to your printer. Hello, everyone, and welcome. And I'm J.K. Lord Gazumba, and I got the ever mysterious Tim, and I got Bill the Master Crafter with me tonight. So welcome. Let me say something personally. I apologize for not being on Thursday, even though I scheduled it and added for it. And Mark, I didn't even think you were coming on tonight. That's awesome.
No,
I thought you were still camping.
No.
That's awesome. So, well, here, Skag, I think that'll work now if I do that. So Skag has already cheered for us. Thank you, man. Yeah. So we got a nice crew tonight. And once again, my apologies. Something we had. The week was a disaster. Let's put it that way. But we're through it. So we got a packed full of nuts next 2 weeks. I mean, it is packed before Gen Con. I'm so excited about everything that's going on. I have a special surprise that only Bill. A lot of my players don't even know about this. It just happened a couple hours ago. So thank you all for coming on. We're going to talk about a bizarre class in 1E, which that's all I can say about it is we don't know why it's done this way, but that's the way they did it. And we're going to talk about customized spells after that because I think the bard will take us about halfway through. So DM Marco's on. Tim and Bill, we got a triumvirate of and Bill, you can see his ear. It's like the Bill ear, which is okay, man, because Bill's building and crafting something. So welcome everyone, and let's we got a whole bunch of new followers too to put in, and let me say this. I'm having a blast of everything we're doing. I'm really excited about something coming up 2 weeks in 2 weeks. Tim knows about that. I'm excited about Mark's game tomorrow night. I'm excited about our game on Thursday. We'll have a full complement there, and I'm really excited about next Sunday. So we got a full pack show. But let's talk about the Bard. I have photocopied out the 3 pages in appendix, not 1. They didn't even give it that priority, and they give psionics appendix 1. Appendix 2 In the player's handbook is where we start with. Whoops, I think I already did him twice. That's okay. We're at 1229 now. So
And you know why it was in Appendix 2?
why is that?
Because the class is so bad it made you feel like you got your appendix out twice.
Isn't that bad of a class considering what they did in second edition made it worse? So
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So and some of our classic old school characters, and there are a couple on this list, are really, you know, momentous in our game, right? So I want to read this one line from here. And here we go. This is from the Bard Appendix 2. It says the following. As this character class subsumes the function of two other classes, fighters and thieves, and tops them off with magical abilities, it is often not allowed by dungeon masters. Even though this presentation is greatly modified from the original Bard character class, this is the Player's Handbook 1, right? It is offered as supplemental to the system, and your DM will be the final arbiter as to the inclusion of bards in your campaign. So, wow, that is like, okay, so now we have a 1E class that they say this isn't the original class. Now, I did a little research, guys. It's not even in, it predates Dragon. Will, let me say hi, Will, Frank, Jeff, Brian, Anna, Rox, Dorgrim, Skygath, and everyone. Man, thanks. Thanks for hopping on. We got a nice crowd tonight. I really appreciate it. First Bard appears in Strategic Review Volume 2, Number 1. I can't, we're talking about 76 or 77 on this. I couldn't even find a copy of it, really, to print out. So I don't know what they had at first. Does anyone on there know what the first Bard looked like? I don't know. I mean, any of you guys have heard anything from anyone? So
No.
No idea. Well before my time.
yeah. So when you look at the first edition Bard and you go back there and you think of, wow, I got to go through all these levels to even get the first level Bard. But then when you're done that, you think you can find that info, man. Whew. If you can find that strategic review info on that Bard, that would be great, man. But you know, maybe for another time. I appreciate that. But if you have it, great. That would be awesome. So once you got through those levels, though, you had a monster of a character, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Looked like Skygath with a loot and a great smile. I don't know, man. It's just we had, and I'm trying to think of what's the oldest Bard you guys remember in the campaign. So Tim,
I had in college, I had somebody who played a Bard.
okay,
Made it into Bard levels.
okay. So he went all the way 7th fighter, 8th thief, and then went into Bard. All right, cool, awesome, good character. Did it work
It was
well?
pretty good, yeah.
All right. How about you, Bill?
I'm so new to the game. I have probably the newest Bard in Marissa.
You do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she's 10, 15 years old.
About that, but she's being play tested, and we'll talk about that with something different, a different spell list, and a different, which is actually worked. That's some nasty stuff. And Mark,
I'd probably say it's a toss-up between Selenor and Oxaxius.
okay, boom, that's pretty good. Selenor and Exaxius are the two that come to mind. So everyone, Oxaxius is an NPC. Selenor was a PC.
Yep.
I was thinking a couple others were Valeria and Mulch, right? Pete Moss's one of Pete Moss's sons. Mulch.
Valeria goes around the time, right after or right. I want to say right around the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Right around that. I don't think I played her in Temple of Elemental Evil. I think she was
it was
right
really
after.
close because she used to be one of the ones that David Gradivus would adventure with.
Right.
for quite a while.
I kind of
So-
deactivated the character. So, trivia
Yeah.
question for all you three. How many active bards are currently in the Order of Ulick active? There's Tom. Tom even hopped on. Tom, you back from Seattle?
Wow.
Boy, I don't know. I don't have a bard in there. Mine's a neutral, so.
Mine's a neutral.
Anyone? That's your guess?
I'd probably say 3
Active?
active.
Tim?
None.
Correct. 0. Not a single one.
Active what?
Active Order of Ulick Knights. Not a single bard. Now there's a couple that are inactive. Valeria's inactive and Mulch is inactive. So there's a couple, but they're inactive characters. First edition. I guess it's. And by the way, I have all the references down on how what we do to build spell lists on the left in books for the most part. Some pictures, some good references in the right, and I actually have a new reference book I picked up today. It's an old book. But I picked it up at, if anyone knows the local area, I picked it up at Tiki Board Games, found it cheap. So I may be adding some stuff to the some spell lists for bards in the near future. So the stats: 15 in strength, wisdom, dex, and charisma. That's a lot, right? That's pretty hefty. 12 in intelligence, 10 in con. That's not too bad. But the 15's across. All right, Tom's still in Seattle, and he's saying hello from Seattle. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man. See you on Thursday. Looking forward to continuing Hidden Temple of Earthnal. And then you start them out as a fighter. In our campaign, 5th edition's vastly different. Humans, half elves only, right? And you got a ways to go. Levels. Now, this is always a bone of contention. Mark, what level of fighter do you have to take it up to?
At least, well, you at least have to take it to 5th.
Okay.
According to the actual official rules, 5th.
Yes.
Typically, we'll take it up to 7th.
And why is that?
That's once again, that's the official rules. Our unofficial rule is that if you're going to dual class something, you have to take it at least to 7th.
Yes, and we talk about that multiple times in shows. And in fact, I guarantee, even though it didn't happen last Thursday, I guarantee a Tim Abuse character that I did not write, you will see Thursday night, and you guys will rue the day of this character's coming, unless of course someone can't spell him and he fails his spell save in the first 10 seconds. Which
I would say though, if you're not doing that rule, it makes sense to go to 7th level because 1, he's getting fighter hit points. 2, he's getting 3 attacks every 2 rounds at that point. And unless you're specializing, in which case, I guess it doesn't really matter.
So think about this. So when Unearthed Arcana comes out in 1983, there you go. Always overreached by the DM, Nox. It gives straight fighter specialization. So think about this now. Who is a fighter going up through Bard is not going to specialize, right? So now your Bard is coming even more powerful because you're going to specialize with a weapon. And if you go to 7th, you get 2 attacks per round with it. If you're a 2-fisted fighter, you're going to get 5 every 2 to start and then 7 every 2, right?
Yeah.
2 primary, 1 secondary first round, 2 and 2 second round. Now you got a nasty Bard. And every one of them, for the most part, a majority of them are 7th level fighters, and they're good fighters too. So weapon specialization actually made bards even more nasty, especially
Except for Wendelin.
So except for Wendelin, but she's still kind of nasty. I mean, all bards are nasty. So you go up to 5th, 6th, or 7th fighter, then you stop. Okay, then you got to restart in Thief. Now here's a little bone of contention we always did not know. Do they get weapon proficiencies over again? We've gone through all these rules, guys, with stuff. It's when I have to do this. This is wait a minute. Ready? Everyone's gonna clap. All right? Or maybe not. Maybe it didn't work. See, nothing happened. That's hysterical. Nothing actually happened. Nothing actually happened with the other one. So Naz, thanks, man. Naz finally has the Michael Baton sword. Oh, you had a bar and he got vaporized, Naz. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, how was Croatia, man? Was it fun? It sounds like you had a blast there. Everyone saw the Michael Baton statue he had too. He showed us a picture of that. That
Oh
was
yeah.
awesome.
Hey, but if a bard's getting vaporized, that's a pretty glorious way to go. It'll show up good in a song or poem. So you should be happy. Bard should be happy.
Yes, definitely. So as you're going up in Thief now, and wherever you are, I'm assuming you have to join a Thieves Guild, right? If you're in the city. So you got to worry about that stuff. You got to take some new weapons because the weapons you may have may not be backstabbing weapons, right? We don't make you retake two-fisted fighting, so at least that's one thing we don't make you redo. But you will get one if you go up to 8th level or surpass your fighter, you'll get another hit die. So you got to go through all that as well, but that goes up pretty quickly because you figure that your venturing group are all 7th and 8th level, so you're getting a lot of experience. You're going up fairly quickly in Thief, right?
Your first adventure, you're at least 4th level thief.
I was thinking about it today. It strikes me as first the bard starts out as the fighting man, the military man, has the big adventure, gets some stuff on some stories under his belt, and then kind of retires to the roguish life. He gets out of the active stuff and wants to be a little bit roguish because he's a little bit been around. Doesn't want to go do that stuff. So now he's roguish. He's hanging around. He's singing at pubs and he's learning songs and he's Anyway, I was just thinking that's how it kind of rolls.
Well, that's a great story plot. I'm thinking we have almost at the most we have a dozen over 40 years. We have almost 40 years. We only have a dozen bards in the campaign, right? That's about it. So they are kind of unique to the campaign when you think about it. And when you have one in your group, there's huge benefits, especially in 1E, 2E. And so they all have stories behind where they have come or where they're going, and all they've been around a while and they got some great items because they've been adventuring a while. So Mark, let me ask you this: why did they decide on the armor? And then if anyone else wants to jump in on this, leather or magical chain? Why?
Why?
Yes.
Probably because of the thieving abilities would be my guess. And plus on top of the fact that bards typically are intended to be not your frontline fighter.
Okay.
And so they probably put a restriction on it. You don't want bards necessarily running around in plate mail or regular plate armor or anything like that. They're supposed to be free. They're supposed to, they're instrument players.
Tim's shaking his head. So, all right, Tim, what's your take?
Look, you can't play a lute in scale mail. You can't play a lute in plate mail.
Okay.
You can't play a fiddle or a fife or anything. You can't play a harp. You can't do anything in that heavy armor. So you got to be able to feel it. You got to be able to flow. So that bard has to chill out a little and take it easy.
Okay.
So
Bill,
the guys in bar do all right.
Well, yeah. Let me ask you this, Bill. Since you played this instrument or did a bit, could you play your bagpipes and plate mail?
It'd be very difficult because you can't feel it.
Okay. Just
I rest my case.
That's a great point, though. That's absolutely a great point. It you have it doesn't more have to do with thieving abilities. It has to do more with using the musical instrument. Which great point brought up by Tim there. I would say that Mark's kind of correct too, and that's the way they're thinking. So that hey, Naz, it's good to have you back and participating in the conversation, man. I know we missed you when you're on holiday or whatever they call it in Europe there. So
not really.
Oh, jeez.
Nah, less Michael Baton comments, the better.
Oh my gosh, that's just wrong, man. Look at all those gold-winged Michael Baton swords out there, man. They're starting to pile up. So, escape from the gulag.
Nice.
Oh man, College of Swords. You built to be a fighter. See, remember 5th edition? You got all sorts of different things. I bet you bards are well done in 5th edition because they've figured out that they've screwed it up for so many on the first 4 editions. They're probably in 5th edition. They're probably pretty decent. I know Brian Sublime says
start off as bards.
What's that?
They start off as bards.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they did a second edition too. That's in the Player's Handbook 2's up. A lot of people don't realize that Bard is its own self-contained class in second edition. So when we get to second edition, and then I remember Tim and I were talking. I remember this specifically, and I looked at him. I go, "This sucks." They have right. They have terrible thief abilities, awful.
Yeah.
They have no fighting skill whatsoever. This is like way worse than what they did in first edition. Let's just keep it.
It's
So
supposed to be they've traveled, they've actually gotten experience in the world, and they have
Yep.
something to sing about. What's a first level bard got to sing about? Well, I bought my new gear at the store today for my first adventure. Well, he has nothing to sing about. He's gonna be a fighter for a while. He's gotta get some, gotta
Yeah.
work a bit.
So we're old grogners or old school idiots, and so it just works. It just this Player's Handbook thing. Look, and you can tell the photocopy. It's got watermarks all over. I'm using a shitty book. It works for us, guys, and that's the point I'm trying to maybe come up with, is that in our game, a straight bard class on its own just doesn't. I mean, it would
So
be,
you could theoretically, if you wanted to, actually do the Bard class first edition as an actual Bard itself and just get its abilities
right.
as is.
Right.
Because if you actually look at the experience point table, it would fit more likely with a first level character. And that's just essentially when they start doing second edition and on, that's what they were really after.
Right.
The inclusion of the class in a fantasy-based role-playing game like D&D makes perfect sense because it fits with, sorcery, it fits with thieves, it fits with clerics, and so forth. So
And there's no TV, so they gotta have somebody.
yeah, you have to have some sort of entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Braves and Robin had a whole fleet of bards that sung about him
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, but
So,
they sung bad things about them. They just.
well,
Those were troubadours. They're like the Christian
Yes, they were true bards. Oh man. So for us, going through fighter, going through thief, it's 15 levels, but really going up from fighter is takes the normal amount of time, but thief is quick because the experience tables are so short, in first edition, and you're just stacking up experience while everyone else is going up to 8th and 9th level. It's pretty quick for the thief.
so
part.
I got a point on that too.
Okay,
If you
I'm listening.
if you read the official rules, technically we do it wrong.
Okay, I'm listening.
Technically, you cannot jump multiple levels at the same time.
I know that, but once again, it's my world.
Understood. I'm just saying it's our house rule for what it is that we actually do.
Yes, and I look at it this way: if you're first level, and everyone else is getting 20,000 experience points, and you get that, but you can only go from first to second level, man, that's painful.
It
Well,
is.
then, you just do another adventure, and then you get, go up to the next one. So you're going up you're stair stepping every.
I don't mind going up early on, going up from first to third or first to fourth,
Yeah.
even at those low level. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't, just because of the way we play, and that we want a capable character. So
Yeah, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with the official rules. I'm just pointing them out that if you went by what it is that they had, you would stair step every level, and then you would do the same thing with Bard as well.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
do you have anyone in your campaign, Mark, and your group that wants to play a bard?
I don't think so. I don't think that they've really even asked. I mean, most of them are really tied up in more spell casting and things of that nature. Bards seem more sissy like. Nobody really has an interest. But I mean, look, there's a lot of D&D players that are musicians, and that's in my experiences and talking with a lot of musicians, that play. That's like the very first thing that they always reach out to be. And if you really do think about it, you take a look in the DMG. There's all sorts of magic items and so forth that are associated to bards,
right?
For them to be able to execute upon. So, I mean, they had to have been greatly used inside of Gary's campaign, if you really think about it.
Thank you, Big Man 76.
Take that much time
very much
to explain magic items that way.
It's I mean, all the instrument of the bards and the lyres of building and all this. You really, they're meant in bard hands. They are, and like I said, for us, it's all right. So Rethix doesn't like bards. That's interesting, Rethix, that you don't like them. I mean, how much in a 1E, 2E setting, our bards, when they get like to where some of these characters are, there's some really well developed, nasty characters. I mean, everyone's scared shitless of a bard, right? Bards are bad. I mean, badass in our game. Correct. Even Wendelin didn't go as high levels. Still, I wouldn't mess with a bard because the way the hit points work, I mean, do you know of a bard that has under 100 hit points?
Yeah, Gwendolyn.
Which she's pretty much up there, like 85, 90 or something
Yeah,
like that, right?
she's
Yeah,
80. I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
say she's like 80 in the low 80s, but
yeah. So I know it's like it's just strange the way that they did it. And I don't know why they just didn't do it as a class. Who knows? But for us, once again, we take the old 1E and we convert. We use a lot of stuff up to 3.5 spells and such. But for us, it works just because I don't want bards running around in every group with the abilities that they have as in here.
Right.
I mean, that'd be sick.
They're supposed to be building.
It's a good point.
Yeah, they're supposed to be building experience and life experience as they go, and that fuels their.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's because they sing about what they know, so they've taken a big bite out of life, and so now they know a lot and they can sing about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna put up a bone of contention with Naz up here. Number one, dragons cannot be charmed. Sorry. Not in our world that you cannot get charmed. Now there's
The dragon may keep him as a pet, though.
Yeah, so 5e bards charming dragons, if that's the case, no, sorry. Now there's like an 8th level mage spell that came out called Charm Dragon specifically, but it's like 8th level mage. I mean, you gotta be like 15th level to cast it. That's a different story because it's specific. But there's no way that dragons should be charmed ever. Just my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree on that or not, but.
Hey, you guys got a bad riff, man. It down.
I can see maybe it being fascinated a little bit by the song, but immediately that ends the minute someone tries,
Or he might be.
Yeah.
Maybe charm is the wrong word. Maybe puzzled and caused
Intrigued.
to conversate. Intrigued because he likes riddles.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a cool song. I wonder where the song goes. And so maybe he just sits there and thinks about it before he kills you.
Right.
So he's thinking about it because he's like, life's boring and this is an interesting song.
Yeah.
The sounds are so cool.
I think that's more of the realm that we're talking about with this. But hey, cool.
That would make a great adventure right there.
Yeah.
Bored.
So, well, Naz, once again, I'll take your word for it that gives bards and 5e a bad rap. Yeah, and Will agrees with me on there. And so we don't ever charming a dragon is an Now, subduing a dragon is a different story in certain instances, but charming a dragon, no, not happening in our game.
What was the last time someone actually subdued a dragon in the campaign?
Probably 40 years ago. Absolutely. So,
I had a character backstab a dragon.
Yeah, and Rethix. All right, Rethix. Now they're not in our game. I'm sorry, Tim. Rethix brings up a point saying it's been ruined. We've never had a bard act like a clown, with one exception. Right? He's starting to laugh.
Yeah,
we've never had that. Ours are serious, traveling, storytelling types. No, it's not. That's not the way. And I can understand that. Rethink, if that's all you know about bards, I agree. That's what the jester is for. So, and I have it right here for you. That's what this is for. The clown, the jester. Okay. So,
So I'm sure the bard knows some jokes and some funny songs because he's got to have a full repertoire. He's got to
absolutely.
have all
Yeah.
the common tavern stuff.
Right.
He's got to have the high-ended epic poetry.
Yeah, and there Brian's typing in. He prefers non-musical bards, which are cool. I consider them more troubadour types, but that's a bard class in 5e. But remember, Brian's a good DM. Okay, everyone knows now Brian's a great 5e
So
DM.
you can have the beatnik. You can have the beatnik. Bard. Yo.
So
Drago.
exactly.
Well,
But
Drago.
I would say Brian probably doesn't like 1E bards anyway because of all the levels that they gain. And I'm a 6 level. 7 level
you can't talk about your level with Brian.
bard,
That's good.
Oops, failed my save. Now I'm on to the grave. Drago.
Oh
Drago.
my God.
Just the spoken word, man.
Tim is on tonight. All right, so.
I like bards. I have one bard.
Yes, you
In
did,
development.
Brian, and I told Naz that too. Traveling celebrity chef, which is kind of cool, man. Absolutely, and you do things non-magical sort of way. So, the shade, that's the one I was talking about. The clown, that's Tandor. So, let me talk about what we've done to change things up with the bard. When you started and you get to your bard level finally, and you get a spell, you get a druid spells, which I still am a little perplexed on. Druid spells at first, you get 1, and it goes up to 5th level, and you get 5th level druid spells at 13th. Okay, as a bard. Now, there's some pretty nasty spells, but is that the Scald type of bard? You think?
I would think it's a Scald type. Yeah.
Yeah. So. We still have that in the game, and a lot of the old bards like Exaxius are that type of bards. Now, by the way, Exaxius, if you watched, and if Tom's still on, if you watched some of the Winchester's Bulwark, Exaxius shows up. He shows up with his best friend Pete Moss, which is Walt's old Archer Ranger. Exaxius is a 23rd level bard. It's kind of like, and I said this before in a discussion, it's kind of like Q in Star Trek. When you have everything, you've done everything, what do you end up doing? You end up doing not much, right? Because you've done everything. So he's stoned out of the bejesus all the time, right? That's all that Exaxius does. Well, he shows up with his lyre building, and he builds half of Ace Broadhead's archery tower at Winchester's Bulwark in a day with the lyre building. Now he can't use it again for another week. Instead of sticking around and finishing it, he gets bored and he leaves, right? And that's just the way I have a 23rd level bard at. I mean, because we don't have anyone near that high level, but he's the player character bard in the campaign. So he's kind of, Mark, what would you say about him?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised he even is still around.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, somebody that is a master bard of that prestige, they become more legendary than anything else.
Right.
In my opinion.
I got it.
I mean, it's like the 17th level monk.
Oh yeah.
You never see them.
Yeah. 23rd level bard in our 23rd is super high in our campaign.
Oh yeah.
Super high. But he's more of a behind the scenes guy. So well, that was probably the only time Bill ever saw him, and Tim saw him a lot in the past too. So that's the one that's an NPC, and then you got some others, and he's an old druidic bard. You have Mulch, which is Pete Moss. Walt's character has two sons named Compost and Mulch. Okay, so it's kind of funny. They're both half elves. Mulch is a bard. He made up the 12th, so he's fighter thief bard, made up the 12th level. And I didn't even look at Tandor's sheet. I'm thinking he made it to 14th, if I recall correctly.
Something like that.
Yeah, he made it up to 14th level. And Tandor was the one that got turned into a shade. I did that on him. I know Mark told that story. Was it 2 weeks ago or last week?
Something like that.
Yeah, we just recently told that story.
Yep.
And then the other Bill, who doesn't play anymore, had the most powerful character in the group, the Gray Company, Selenor Syra. And tell a little bit about him, Bill, please, Selenor.
Well, he was there's a lot of bad things about him.
It was character neutral, right?
Well, it was chaotic neutral. I mean, he He was a rapier specialist fighter, but he had gauntlets of ogre power, so he was nasty. He was a nasty guy, but he also Bill had during one of his breaks had left, and he was kind of running as one of the assistant quartermasters for the Thieves Guild of Greyhawk City.
Yeah.
And during the Greyhawk Guild Wars with Thomas Raddick and those guys, he was kind of the liaison between the Thieves Guild and our group, the Grey Company.
The only time he wasn't crazy.
But he's an insanely nasty character.
Yeah, absolutely. Went completely off the deep end, as our friend played off the deep end too,
Yep.
and kind of semi-ruined the character a bit. But he's gone. You know, he's in the realm. He sometimes there's a sighting of him just playing a tune in a bar somewhere. You never know in the future what will happen to him. So I have 3 characters, and I think they're all different types. So we have 3 different types of bards. Now we have the druidic type, and then I'm going to show a Dragon Magazine article. It's from Dragon. I'm sorry, and it's here, Dragon 58. Okay, and that article.
What?
It's another bard, not quite so hard, right? That's the name of it?
Yeah.
Now, this is a single class bard, but we didn't do it that way. We did it as a bard that went up. Now, they had illusionist spells in addition to druidic spells. So as I'm looking through this class, here it is, Singing a New Tune. All right, very good article by Jeff Getz. Okay. Good article to reference. They have a new experience table list, the arms and armor, magical items usable, and then they get druid and illusionist spells. So I said, why not take the bard that is it partially in this one and change it a little bit and give bards the Welsh, Irish type of bard, give them illusionist spells instead of druidic spells just in its entirety. So Wendelin, what type is she?
She's an illusionist type.
She's an illusionist type, exactly. Okay, so why don't you discuss, and it's not all illusionist spells, it's certain spheres from illusion.
Yep.
So I have the bard spell list here. Notice this too, 6th level spells, which don't exist in the player's handbook. So at 15th level, bards get access to 6th level spells now. So I added another level to them. So we don't have any PCs currently there yet, but they do have the capability of getting a 6th level spell at that level, which is kind of cool. So talk about Wendelin a little bit for us.
Sure. So Wendelin is a character that is part of a family that Jay has tried killing off, and I just keep coming up with more. So, no, in all honesty, she comes from a long line. They are her last name is Rexenor, which is a cousin actually to the Gradavis.
I'll spell it.
R8.
I'll spell it. I just put it in. I put it in.
And effectively, she is the daughter of a character that I had named Mateo that tragically died before and didn't know that she existed. And so I actually did this character on purpose just to drive Jay crazy, just because she, sings of the Rexenor family so much. But she's taken kind of a twist because she kind of lost her way, as time has gone on, basically the family hasn't been as important anymore. So she's found some newfound life, actually being engaged to Garth.
Garth Warmonger, actually. Yes. Now, she's like almost 60 years old as a human, if I recall.
Exactly.
Yes. So it's so we don't know who's going to pass first, Garth or she. But it's kind of interesting. And you've been using her a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
And she is the one exception to the rule of bards in our campaign. And that exception that you did is what?
So she only went up to 5th level as a fighter. Just because I wanted to get her to becoming a bard sooner.
Yes.
And so technically by the 1st edition rules, they have to be at least a 5th level fighter. Now, she was made after Unearthed Arcana came out, and which obviously allowed for specialization at that point. And then subsequently,
Yeah.
she only went to 6th level Thief because that was the prerequisite before becoming a bard. And so she doesn't have as much experience as the others that are around her are concerned.
So when you look at the spells that this type of bard gets, you're looking at some pretty crazy stuff. Non-detection, 3rd level, right? Some stuff that you get the druidic hold. I'm sorry, the illusionist hold person, mirror image, misdirection, spook, friends, detect illusion, charm person, of course. Blindness, deafness at 2nd. No paralyzation. They don't get that. They get the greater and lesser malice and spells. So hold monster at 5th. So they get some phantasmal killer at 4th. They do get some of the illusionist spells that everyone considers pretty kind of nasty to enhancing combat. Improved invisibility being the biggest one of all at 4th level. So combine that with the spells of the bards, songs that to enhance morale and to enhance everyone's combat, and that they tend to be kind of formidable when it comes to combat. But they do get a lot of effect spells as well. Secret Torch, Leomund's Tiny Hut. We'll talk about Leomund's Tiny Hut next week, right? So, yeah. Well, that's okay, Adam. A lot of people love it. It's a love them or hate them deal with bards. You gotta love them or you gotta hate them. And in this edition, in our 1E 2E game, it takes a unique. Someone's got to prep up early on in their character. That's what tends to happen. Like if I play a fighter, or Tom has a fighter who's straight and human or half elf, right? If he's not thinking about it to start, he's not making that character a bard, right? You usually think about, I'm going to make this character a bard right at the inception of the character, correct, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
because you got to plan taking treasure picks and everything else as you're going to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would actually contend that would be now. Once again, the class based upon the actual rule set says human and half elf. I would actually contend that you could do any race as a bard.
Half orc.
Maybe not half
They
orc.
just do metal, man. They do heavy metal.
Yeah, they would be.
You guys don't play World of Warcraft, so you don't even know, man. The guitars and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, they could probably do more clerical spells or be more like a specialty priest or something to that degree when you start getting like dwarves and halflings, whatever. Because all of them all the races are musically inclined in one way, shape, or form, or are poetry inclined, more like elves and so forth. So, and every race is going to want to tell stories and are going to have legends that are going to be specific for their actual race. Now, once again, that's just my point of contention with it. It's more of a 5e twist to it because obviously 5e you can have practically anything, but you'd have to have specialty types of spell lists and so forth for each race as they would go.
Brian gives a great point. I'm just saying, guys, in our old school 1E 2E game, we don't have every race can be every class, right? So I understand what Mark's saying, but I don't think we're going to open this up to halfling bards anytime soon.
Well,
No, and I'm not suggesting we do. I'm just saying it would make sense if we did.
Yes. Go ahead, Tim.
I would just say bards are one thing, but every race has musical people or poets or tradition, troubadours or whatever, but not necessarily everything is a bard. Because I would say you have to identify it early because that bard is not just a fighter who you can, play a couple chords. I mean, it's somebody who was already trained, already educated, already knows all that stuff.
Right.
But now they're being sent out to experience the world and give their art a little bit more, salt to it. So they start out educated already.
All right, and here's something that I did personally. all you DMs out there should do the same thing because I said so. All right. Greyhawk, the World of Greyhawk box set, right? We're talking about the City Greyhawk box set. There's the Bard School in Greyhawk City, right? That's a
Yep.
cool thing. So what's the benefit of going to the Bard School? What I did in my campaign was if you were a graduate of the Bard School, and this is 1E2E, there's no experience point bonuses as a Bard, but if you go to the Bard School, you get the 10% bonus. That's what we did. That's how we dealt with that.
You
So
only gotta get
I thought it
into
was-
college.
I thought it was to get the same stuff Oxaxius got as well.
yeah, what? No, California Setsamia and
Yeah.
no, yeah. So I love that they put the Bard School in there. I think that was genius of them, along with all the other schools and the culinary school and all the other stuff that's in that Greyhawk City. So, yep, Bard School member. Isn't one of yours educated there, Bill? Was she?
No.
No? Oh, that was Selenor, wasn't it? Selenor was educated. Yeah, Selenor was educated there. I don't know how he graduated, but he did. So, one of
He
those.
slept with the game.
All right, so the third Bard. The one, it's really technically in playtest because in the entire campaign, guys, Tim, how many do we have? The Song Bard.
I don't know.
How many do we have, Bill?
One.
One! And that's Bill's character, Marissa Saloon?
Saloon.
Marissa Saloon. 10th level Bard now. So, 1E, 2E, there are not enough song spells to get just the Sphere of Song in. But
Nope.
with the following references, and I'm going to start with Player's Handbook 2, there's a couple. All right, look at this timing, it's perfect. Player's Handbook 2, a couple spells. Player's Handbook 3, I think, gives you 1 or 2 spells as well. The Complete Bard's Handbook, always useful in this instance, but for some ideas on types of role playing and maybe some kits on bards, but not the spells, but it's really got some great ideas in it. Great book. This book I'll talk about in a second. Okay, I'll talk about that book in a second. Song and Silence. I'm pilfering from Forgotten Realms. Magic of Faerun book, huge for song spells. Okay, a lot of them like Dirge. All right, is one of them. Harmony is another one. The Seven Sisters reference, Melisandre's Harp, Bright Song, a couple other spells in the Seven Sisters reference. Okay, another great spot to get song-type spells. Relics and Rituals, Sword and Sorcery book. This is where most of these come from, is from the Sword and Sorcery edition. I wish this company was still in existence. Man, they did some unbelievable stuff. Great book. Couple that with Relics and Rituals 2. I would have to count. There's got to be 20 to 30 spells in here with all these references from them. The Excalibur reference book as well from them gave me a whole bunch of spells. And finally from them, the Eldritch Sorcery book. If I go to like a level 3, all right, let me just count this up. There's 4. Here's the list. All right, Songbard spells. Notice there's not many 5th, but okay. A lot of 1st, 2nd, 3rd. This spell, this type of bard, all their spells are singing based, right? Right, Bill? It's almost like a song they're singing. Song spells. So we're trying to create that true, your song as a spell feel. So this is a major, obviously, playtest with one of them. There's 13 third level spells. 11 of them, all but 3, come from those references from the Sword and Sorcery books. Only 3 of them comes from the Magic of Faerun book. All the rest come from the Sword and Sorcery references.
Do you have shout and chant in there too?
No, I don't have clerical shout and chant, but Bill, go over a couple of the spells that Marissa has that are really fantastic. And if you're, not accurate, like what the one.
I don't have the spell list, but there's a I can't think of the name of it, but it's a super song essentially, where your bard after 2 rounds of singing essentially gives everyone +1 to hit. That's the spell they have, and I
+3.
What's that?
he's-
It's plus 3 to hit, right?
Yeah.
Instead.
And it's
He's
fancy,
singing
too.
"We Will
There's a
Rock
lot of-
You."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's I mean, the problem we've had is there bards. Once you hit bard, your experience goes up so fast, and
Mhm.
we haven't got a lot of the spells out yet, just because of the way we do spells. Learning spells, you only get 2 per level. So a lot of the music spheres we haven't actually even touched yet. So it's still a really new class.
It is a big and all right. So Naz brings up silence. Silence is not on the illusionist bard list because that's a clerical spell, and I don't even think the druids get silence.
I don't get it either.
No.
Now, Songbard Soundburst is on there. That's the Player's Handbook 3 spell. But Wounding Whispers, that's 3rd level.
Yeah, good one. Haunting Tune is good.
Haunting Tunes, 3rd level. Puppeteers, 3rd level. Lucky Cloak, 2nd. Circle Dance, 2nd. All songs. They're all true songs. Sonic Shield is 1st. So I'm excited. Now, Charm Monsters at 4th. Charm Person Mass is at 5th. So you actually have a Mass Charm spell.
Yeah, and with the bard, the way we do it,
Yep.
the song bard, because it's their song, we allow the bard to still have their normal action as well as singing.
Absolutely.
So it's a double effect that they get because they don't
Absolutely.
have that many spells in their the
We
cast.
need to get an interpretive dance bard.
Oh, Tim. Yeah. How about a synchronized swimming bard?
A little moonwalking going on.
So this is our attempt to create the spells into song. Okay, and it's still in playtest. I will share this with anyone who wants to, and all the references of where you can get all the spells, and see if you guys can come up with any other thing to enhance it. But that's our 3 bards. So you have the Druidic Standard Bard on Player's Handbook 1. You have the Illusionist type bard that's based off of the Dragon 58, and then you have our own creation, the Song Bard, and so you can become any one of those 3 when you get to bard level, based on your background or based on what direction you want to go. And so it's cool, something a little different, and that's our customization, our campaign. Now let's talk about this. We skipped over. Base bards have some great abilities, really
Sure
cool
do.
abilities. So, Bill, don't go over the Diarmids, but what's your favorite ability of a bard?
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's their buffing. It's their standard singing spell.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's a
Morale.
+1 to hit for everyone within 60 feet of you is huge.
Absolutely. Now, according to I read carefully, it takes 2 rounds, right? To
2
do.
rounds, beginning in the second round.
It gives you 10% morale, which we do +1 on like fear and charm saves, right? That's how we handle it, right?
Yep.
And then +1 to hit, and that lasts a turn.
It's like the St. Crispin's Day speech, right?
Yes, exactly.
Doing all fired up.
To me, it was the precursor for what we do with fighters for Battle Shout.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely. Except they can use it a lot more than fighters. Yeah. So think about this: you're stacking a blesser prayer with a battle shout and a bard singing, and you got yourself a pretty powerful assistance in fighting. Plus, this is 40 foot. I believe no, it's 60.
40.
Isn't it?
Okay, I thought it was.
No, charm's at 40.
Charm's 40.
Yeah, so morale goes out there a ways. I think it's 60 foot. So it's a huge advantage. A +1 to hit alone, a +1 on some saves is really.
And it's not susceptible to dispel magic either.
That's true because it's not a spell.
Correct.
Absolutely. Now, if Bill's character Marissa were to cast that other spell where they get to +3, that's subject to because technically that's a song spell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the spell.
Yeah. So yeah, Naz says in 5e they get to inspire, which is very similar, which is cool. So Mark, what about you with another bard ability?
So I would say my more favorite is the legend lore ability.
Yes.
They actually get, and granted this is at, for those playing out there, this is at the discretion of your DM. Some of it is just kind of the precursor for what the adventure is really about, depending if you're looking for like a lost item or you hear a storyline and so forth. There's a natural thought process that your bard is going to do his legend lore ability, his or her legend lore ability, to know some of the history, and depending on how your DM actually rules it, will define what it is that you actually find out in the end.
Cool. It's great for those rare items you get, and that even though detect magic, oh, it's magical, but you don't know anything about it. So, and I throw in a lot of unique abilitied items, and so does Mark, so
Yep.
does Tim, and so it really is a big benefit in our game. Not to you get some information right then and there on the item. So definitely legend lore is cool. You can legend lore almost anything. You can legend lore a name. You can legend lore a place. You can legend lore, a topic. It's cool. It's a great ability. Tim, what about you? I know I've left you only with probably one.
I have I have my one bard in training, and he's still just in the fighter level. Hugo Stiglitz.
Yes, you can. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot that he was going to become a
Hugo
bard.
Stiglitz. That's right. He's playing in the bars.
Right.
He's in
Hardby.
Hardby, right?
Everyone knows what's going on in Hardby, correct? So,
he's very, very, very gifted. He has lots and lots of potential.
yes.
And he's got a relative who wants him to be able to maximize his potential and not get distracted by any of those nasty sluts that kind of hang around him.
So everyone knows about Hugo and Crystal Ion, and secretly, if you didn't know this, they are actually children of the great legendary Skeeve in our campaign, and they're hiding out in Hardby. So Hugo Stiglitz is, and everyone knows from Inglourious Bastards. That's from that name. Okay, he's the one the Plow in the Stars. All the waitresses are named after Charlie's Angels from the TV show, and Hugo was dating Sabrina. Well, Sabrina turned out up tortured and dead, and they're now trying to find.
Tortured. She was.
All right. Well, she turned up dead, and they had to figure out what's going on with the murders. And now Hugo's dating another one of the.
You know what? He went through a long period of mourning and wrote a very touching.
Yes.
Dirge in her memory. He has a lot of songs about lost love.
Yes, exactly.
Very touching. He's really maximized his potential.
Yes, so we have some crazy, typical crazy Tim characters running around here. You're not dating my, well, you'll see.
But his relative is very serious about him maximizing his potential, not getting distracted.
I guarantee that story will continue, and when we do Michael Baton is missing in Hardby.
Was he trying to date him too?
Who, Michael?
Yeah.
Ask Mark.
Maybe that's why he's missing.
That's a funny one. That's a good one. You really got me on that one. All right. So for me, think about this. Bard, 7th level fighter, 8th level thief, 10th level bard, 120 hit points in our game, right? Roughly, probably.
Give or take.
Yeah. Nasty character. I wish we had some more. Maybe we will down the road. What's up?
I had this is I don't know if this is just an idea. I had a buddy who in college campaign he started a bard, and he basically got him through thief, and that group kind of some people left and whatever moved on. I started a new campaign with new players, and he wanted to play that, but he liked his old characters, so he started as a first level bard with the group of first level characters, because he's coming in there, he's coming in they don't know him so it was a good role playing thing for him. He could have come in and tried to kill everything up, but he just
that's cool.
Fit in as a bard, fitting his role. He's starting his official bard class, so he played.
He's like Svarts.
He was kind of he was druidic, so he was kind of like extra. It was all outdoors, and it was it worked really well.
That's cool that you allowed that.
Only because his player style was such that he's not going. And he wasn't overpowered either. He didn't have very many.
You have to know your players. If you don't know your players, that could get out of hand quickly. All right, so I showed this once before. This is from one of the greatest Dragon magazines of all time. This is a special. In our campaign, we look for things that are really unique. I got two things. Let me do this one. All right. So, Dragon 60, one of the best ones ever written. And it's called Dire Muid's Last Jest. It's a story It's by Arthur Collins. Here it is, and it's on two separate sides of the page, so I had to cut and paste that in together. All right, so basically, this is a special ability that we give to our bards if they learn it.
If they learn it.
If they learn it, and Bills has this.
Never used it.
Never used it, but she has this. So basically, what this is it's a story told from generations to generations. And what happens is the bard tells this and gets a captive audience. And the bard's story at the end is so funny and so hysterical that if the bard makes his or her charm save, and you fail a magical saving throw after that, you die laughing.
It's the last jest they ever heard.
Yes. He who laughs last laughs longest. Now, I love the way that this is written. So it's like certain undead might be subject to the jest, but get a +5 on their saving throw. And then here's the dragon thing, all right? Some common-speaking dragons may be terribly amused by the jest, but they will not be helpless with laughter, though they may be surprised. So you can't go out and you can't kill a dragon with this. But you can, like, a mass saving throw, get a whole bunch of, like, humanoids or, bandits or pirates or something. So in order to gain this from another bard or research this, when you go up in level, you must roll a legend lore %, which is really low if you know the percentages on the table. So, for example, if you're a bard of 6th level, you have a 16% chance of learning this. So, yeah, you like that, Celestian? Monty Python's Deadly Joke. It's a cool thing for your campaign. I've used this on them before, right? I used it on them, and to great effect. And consider it as...
How long does it take to say the jest?
All right, so good question. To tell the jest takes 5 rounds. The bard's hands must be free. He must be unencumbered. The speaker must converse freely in the hearer's native tongue. That doesn't mean that it has to be. If they can speak Orcish, and or telling it in a tongue not native to the hearers gives them a +3 on the saving throw, and the most extreme effect, death by mirth, cannot be achieved. So, needless to say, a joke can be intrinsically funny, but if it is told without skill, it can still fall flat. So there's 4 different things that can happen. If you make your charm save, charm roll % your charm then the worst thing can happen. If you fail your charm and they fail their save, then they laugh or whatever. But and then the worst things can be you fail your charm and they make their save, then they're angered by it. They're scornful or angered, and so pretty cool a thing. Like I said, it's only 2 pages. I found it one day and I was like, this is cool. We're going to use this. So always a tidbit or a custom thing that you find in a Dragon magazine. Once again, Dragon 60. I have it on these cards too. I could probably email it to someone or Discord it to you, just so you have it. Maybe get some ideas of some storytelling abilities you could give your bards in your campaign. Something like that. So just to put that out there. And lastly, Song and Silence. I just picked this up. We like converting 3 and 3.5 stuff back into 1E, 2E, and there's some spells in here that are always look for unique spells. We're going to be talking about spells in a minute here. So Lullaby, Protege. There's some stuff in here that bard spells that I may be incorporating in. Crescendo. We'll see. But I always like getting some, especially in the 3rd edition realm, some things, get some ideas. This book also has some things on assassins, some things on thieves guilds, and I got it for like $5. So cool stuff. But I haven't even delved into it yet to try and, like I said, I'm always looking for some little new tidbits to throw at these guys or give them as abilities, because the game is always growing, right? Always growing. So you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it moving, and you got to keep changes. And that's why all these guys have been together. We've all been together since, some of us since 1980, right, Tim? Man, look at how gray that hair is too, man. But you got to cut a little bit there. All right, so let's take a quick break here. When we're going to talk about this. I want to show this right now. For those of you who are subs and even followers, Hey, Frank, thanks, man. All right. Our giveaway Thursday night, the Masters Atlas World Crafting Tile Set. Okay? I got one of these is going with me to Gen Con. I'm using it actually there. Carlos and I will be using it during our game. We'll be using it also hopefully in the Greyhawk House when I'm DMing there. But what it is exactly what it says. It's a bunch of tiles, outdoor or dungeon. I haven't even taken it apart yet, but see, it's all just tiles to be used. I have 3 of these to give away Thursday night, courtesy of our great sponsor, Stratagem. All right, so that's big announcement number 1. So I'm giving 2 away to subscribers. Make sure you're up to date and subscribe, guys. And I'm giving 1 away to a follower. So I have, like I said, 3 of these to give away. Thank you, Stratagem. I'm trying to get Colin, the Stratagem rep, to go with me actually to the Greyhawk House at Gen Con because they'll be there. So, well, hey, Brian, thanks, man. These are cool because it's compact. Right, I could put this in my suitcase. Right, it gets the purpose done with figures I'm gonna have. Hey, yeah, thanks, Catano, and you know, it's another cool item from them. So I'm gonna be using the mats from Stratagem. I'm gonna be using my DM screen from Stratagem at Gen Con. I'm gonna be using this at Stratagem by Stratagem as well. So I wanted to show you guys all that midway through the show there, just to say, hey, that's what we have going on. Thanks all. You know, like I said, subs, you got to. There you go, Celestian. Awesome. 7 months for Celestian. Thanks, man. Mike, great to see you. Keep on with your efforts, man. Everything you do. We really appreciate what you're doing with Fantasy Grounds. And I saw the Temple of Elemental Evil got released. I think I saw that. So that's awesome, man. Thank you. And we'll just keep on doing it. And everyone knows, yep. That's awesome. Temple of Elemental Evil is out for 2E Fantasy Grounds, guys. So if you're an old schooler and you use a VTT, you could play Temple of Elemental Evil again, man. And that's just such an unbelievable thing when you think about it. One of the great, I know people argue, I think it's one of the greatest modules of all time. The storyline's awesome. Right, Mark? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
It's on our wall of fame. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I have 24 adventures on our wall of fame, and that's one of them. So, like I said, a follower, you have to be online at the time of the drawing. It'll be after 11. Subs, you don't. I appreciate your subscribing, and you don't even need to be on. I appreciate it if you're on, but you don't need to be on. All right, so let's talk next.
All right, Jay.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll.
All right, you got anything to show us?
No, it's not in that state quite
Okay.
yet.
All right. Bill's got to go. Thanks for hopping on, Bill. Bill's
No
working
problem.
on some great stuff. We will see. I'll see you Thursday night, man.
I'll be there.
Okay, man. Sounds good.
Hey, Bill.
Let me see if I can shut Bill's iPad off here. Let me remove that. Okay. All right. So let's talk about custom spells. Who, trivia question, and anyone online, let's see anyone online. Who in my campaign has created the most custom spells for our campaign? Could be me, could be anyone. Anyone want to venture a guess? Mark, you want to venture a guess?
Probably character or player?
Person.
Person? I'd probably say Alan.
You're incorrect. The answer is right next to you. Tim.
Tim doesn't count.
Why doesn't Tim count?
Because you're not entered in your actual world. He did them for his own.
No, you are absolutely incorrect.
Really?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You are incorrect 100% because you are forgetting one key thing that Tim did for us. Tim created a majority of the para-elementalist spells.
And how many para-elementalists do we have? 1.
No, that's not true.
Oh, I have 1.
We have 3.
Oh, we have 3 now?
We have 3. Yeah, absolutely. Tim, yes, he doesn't get a fire. So Tim has created more spells than anyone else in the campaign at 13. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Over 39 years, Tim's only done 13 spells. 11 of them are para-elementalist spells. Okay. Now, Some rules, guys, everyone watching. Here are my rules for creating a custom spell. First, don't do it before you come to me. Come to me first, which everyone always does. Talk to me about what the idea is, why you need the custom spell. We got to make sure, number one, it's balanced, right? It has to be completely balanced, level-wise and everything.
You don't want to have DM hate on it. 'cause it's not.
You want this. By the way, this is tier 2, guys. I added this in. You want the DM's love. You don't want the DM's hate. By the way, that's a blood elf from WoW, guys. I ripped it right off with a heart. So there you go. It's the DM's love. That Tim's head is now tier 1 for all you subscribers. Go to your Glory's Content on Tim loves a good critical there all day long. Yes, and to keep me from cheating, flop up those. There you go. You can use it all day long. The Tim's critical head now. I made it tier 1 where it should have been in first place. So, balance, number 1. 2, I don't want to be flooded with spells. I want them to be concise, and I want them to be. Yeah, Naz, you've been gone. You didn't even realize that. You can use Tim's head all day long. He's been in Croatia when I made that switch. Yes, I appreciate that, Tim. Naz, I appreciate it. Concise, reason behind it, and balanced. Did I miss anything, Mark?
No, I'm shooting blanks. So as far as this is concerned,
Oh, it has to have the balance part solves a lot of it. And then the reason why, not just the.
Yes. Let's discuss a couple of the spells that have been created, why they were created, how you guys can allow it to happen in your game, because I think it's cool. Once again, just like this, just like our maps, just like our campaign, having spells unique to your campaign gives it your own flavor, right? Gives it your touch on your game that you could share maybe down the road with someone else. So, I'm going to talk about Alan's spells first. How's that sound? Alan has a unique named character. He's a ranger mage named Arathorn, son of Aragorn. It's flipped around, right? Because his character Aragorn died. So he made Arathorn, he did it in reverse. So Arathorn is a high-level half-elf Sylvan ranger magic user in our campaign who wanted to give his ranger abilities over to be used in a magic user form to all those magic users who didn't have the capability. So, second level spell he made was what, Mark?
Ranger Eyes.
Arathorn's Ranger Eyes. Second level.
Yep.
Here's what it does. Yeah, I don't, Naz. Upcasting, remember, this is not 5e. No. That's another issue we get at. You can't upcast these spells. All right. Duration 3 turns per level. Casting times around. Area affects 1 individual. Arathorn's Ranger Eyes gives the ability to track as a ranger of the caster's level. All right. So this is a spell that a mage can cast on anyone. How about if you're in a group and you don't have a tracker, but you have a mage who has Arathorn's Ranger Eyes? You can cast on someone and they can become a tracker now. All right. If the spell's recast before the expiration, no rechecks for locating are required. So here's his caveat, okay, that he wouldn't want this abused by baddies. Arathorn, Alan's character, put this spell may only be cast upon individuals of good alignment or druids. That was his caveat for the spell. How that works in spell casting, hey, it's a game, right? So that's his first spell. Next spell, Arathorn
Part of the code typed in. Part of the code in.
Yeah, he coded it in magically. Yeah, absolutely.
Good
But once again, that spell really doesn't exist. He came to me with an idea. Yeah, and Happy is the guy who played Selenor. That's the other Bill, not our Bill the Master Crafter, and Brian's busting. Yes, his nickname was Happy. It's kind of because he never was happy. So he had 2. He used to walk around real quick with 2 of these big footy things with like monster heads on them, and one was named Grumpy, and one was named Grumpier. Right, and that's what he used to walk around with. And yeah, look at the look on Tim's face. So the second spell that Arathorn created, 3rd level spell. Do you remember it, Mark?
It is Ranger attack, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
correct. Arathorn's Ranger attack. Think about how nasty this spell is. I like the way Alan's thinking. Duration is 1 round per level. Casting time is 1 round per individual. Area effect is 1 individual per every 5 levels of the caster. So if you're a 10th level mage, you can cast this on 2 people. So I think Arathorn is what level mage is he? 13th or 14th now, so he can cast it on 2. Yeah.
I think 14th. Yeah.
This spell gives recipients the same melee combat modifier damage +1 per level against humanoid classes as a ranger of the individual equivalent level. Remember, 1E rangers against humanoids, giants, all that, we get +1 point per damage in melee attacks, right? So say this would imbue +10 if you're 10th level, +10 damage against humanoids to a couple individuals in your fighting group. So this is called Arathorn's Ranger attack. I liked where he was going with this. These are 2 of the oldest spells that have been created in our campaign. So it's some idea of something you could do that he went with and ran with it, and I liked it. And so they exist in our campaign. They're in the Altamira Spell Guild. All right, so we have our city of Altamira on Anna's map in the county of Ulick. There's a Magic Users Guild there. They are in that guild hall's spell list. So anyone who's a member of the Magic Users Guild there has access to those spells, and that's how the spells get out to the characters. Simple. So Mark, think of us, not the super humorous ones. What you got a spell you think of? That you.
Honestly, I don't, because those are the two main ones I can think of. Because early on, we never actually did any spell creation.
We didn't.
So,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it'd be more recent, and
that's incorrect, though.
Higher level mages don't even really exist around anymore. So.
You're thinking mages here. You know what? You may not have been here for this one. All right. Bill would have been. Tim, your dad, created a great clerical spell. In fact, it's so. Do you know a lot about Abdul, Tim?
Yeah, I know he's a cleric, magic cleric.
Yes, and remember, Abdul is the one that has the relationship with that Anna played Mariel. Yep, Jalarzi's apprentice in Greyhawk.
We're going to eat cake. We're not going to.
Everyone saw Abdul on our fundraiser. John, that's the last time John has played Tim's dad. He's a cleric mage. He's very in depth in what's going on in the scene of Greyhawk City. He's a member of the Iron Brigade, the highest rated mercenary group. Our characters, but he's from the West. He's from like Ekbir, if I recall. So his deity's the prophet, right? That's what he's named. And I think it came from Alec Barr, or he kind of made it up on his own. He created a spell called the Stone of the Prophet's Anger. And this comes from, I don't know if this comes from the Quran or if this comes from other references.
Maybe it's a 1001 Arabian Nights.
It could be, but your dad made this up from scratch. Now, I had to tone down the spell damage. But what this spell does is it creates a glowing stone of like glowing gold or molten
brass.
Molten brass, that's it. It's only first level. It's only and for example, depending on his level, the fiery stone will hit and it almost does like a ring of shooting stars does. Similar. If you know it hits and then explodes, everyone, So, like at 7th level, the fiery stone hits for 1d6, and then the brassy stone hits for 1d4 per level. So if he's 11th level, does 11d4, and this is on evil characters. So this is a good deity spell. It's only first level, but he's the only one in the campaign that has it because he's the only one that worships this deity. And John created this completely from scratch and did a fantastic job with it, and I loved everything about it. And there it is, the Stone of the Prophet's Anger.
And you feel the anger if you're hit with molten brass.
Yes, absolutely. Great spell. Great idea. Yeah, so it's cool. And I loved that John did that. And that's an old spell. This is 25 years old when that group first came out. So a nice one. All right. Walt actually created a spell. Sorry, I shouldn't say it that way. A question: research or testing characters doing a create data. How many spells are truly unique versus a variant? These are all, Brian, truly unique. All the ones I'm talking about. None of these are variants. Variant spells I don't count. I'll give you an example of a variant spell I use all the time. I was talking about on Discord today. I was talking about Tabitha, my fighter mage, who doesn't use fire spells. She has freezing hands over burning hands. Snowball is also in Celestian. Snowball and Snowlock Snowball Swarm are in Forgotten Realms. We use them exclusive. They're spells we use all the time for Water Elementalist and regular mage spells. So yes, Snowball is one of them. Freezing Hands. Instead of Cone of Cold, they have Cone of Metal Shards. I don't count any of them in this discussion.
Silverstone, yeah.
So, yeah, we don't count any of those at all. These are all unique spells to our campaign completely. But good question. And then how many spells? All right, and then yes. Heat Metal, Chill Metal would be a good one. Yes,
Heat Metal is reversible.
Yeah,
Heat Metal is reversible in 1E. It's
Yeah.
but Dorgrim's saying it's not in 5E. So yes, there's a lot of variants on different, like from fire to cold or air to earth and all that.
It should be.
Yeah.
You just change that because one is exciting molecules, the other one is slowing them down.
Absolutely. And that helped me get to elementalist spells. And I'll tell you about one I created from scratch in a second. Brian, what I want them to do is they got to be of a level of Lord status or higher. They got to be, and they have to have a reason for doing it, and then they have to spend time, and then I get them to write it up in my edit, and over game time I bring it in. So you're looking at in game time equivalent. They just don't snap their fingers and make a spell. We're talking months. Months of actual prep research, and then they get in. And because we bounce around so much with groups, that time, gets extended sometimes. But variant spells are cool. But Walt created a Wild Mage spell for his character, Darvin. This is a cool spell. It's called Darvin's Double Dare. All right, level 4, Wild Mage. Duration's 1 round per level. The area affects only the caster. Can never cast on anyone else. All right, here's what happens. If anyone knows a Wild Mage, you have a Surge table. Hey, do you have the Surge tables and Wild Mages coded into Fantasy Grounds in 2E? Good question. I'm assuming you do, but that would be awesome if you had Surges, man. Wow. So, with this spell, a Wild Mage attempts to control lesser variations of a cast spell, but possibly with... Okay, they're not configured. Okay. With some very...
That's okay, I don't like them.
that's because of Miracle of the Chaotic you found out was a Wild Mage.
That's just disappointing.
All right, so it's tough. I can imagine, Mike, it's really tough to code this. I can imagine that.
Don't
Absolutely. So, you roll in the Surge table twice. This is kind of, oh my gosh, this is kind of like advantage in 5e for a Wild Mage. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
You roll twice, but, however, if either rolls a Surge, that Surge takes precedent over the other result. So say you roll a 20 and raise it 5 levels, and roll that 9 on the 9th level table, and the Surge takes precedent. You always take the higher effect unless the Surge rolls. If you roll a Surge for both Surges go off. Basically, this is advantage with a serious penalty if a Surge comes up on the Wild Mage table. Darvin's Double Dare. Walt came up with this idea. And this is before I ever knew what the hell advantage was in 5e. I said, great idea, Walt.
Double Dare, yeah, it's good.
Exactly. And he can't, yeah. So, Walt, thank you. Great spell. Nothing like that. All right, you advantage. Yeah, you get the idea. All right, Tim. Let's talk about Tim. When I was working on, we have elementalists. We have 6, and we never run a whole show on them. We have fire, air, earth, water. Sounds cooler than Wild Magic Sorcerer in 5e. Well, Naz, thanks, man. I mean, we're trying, like I said, I love Wild Mages. Wild Mages are, I have an NPC, Jacqueline Tyneman. They are nasty. They are nasty. They can do a world of hurt on your own group. The nastiest Wild Mage effect I ever saw was by Jacqueline. She cast a magic missile on someone, a baddie, and surged. Now she did 6 die 4 plus 6 because she's 11th level. That's a lot of damage, no save. The Wild Mage surge was all creatures within 60-foot radius are affected. 6 die 4 plus 6 on everyone. No save.
Including the party?
Yes.
Yep. All creatures.
I thought you were talking about something that could happen. I know. Also, Emericals healed us, didn't he?
Yeah. Absolutely. Here's some
He,
kids.
he just
Yes.
surged.
So some nasty
Healed
stuff.
everybody.
Well, Refix, that's a good question. What about creating spells powerful but has guaranteed negative side effects?
Oh, that's a simple one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rottley's Wild Bolt.
Okay, Refix, we're going to go into the Wild Mage real quick here. Raleigh's Wild Bolt does that, and I'm going to tell you what it does. And if you surge it, then you're really screwed because you take all the damage and it does nothing. It's a 2nd level spell. It's from the Great Net Spellbook. This is what you do. You do 1 die 3 plus 1. You don't have to do plus 1s. It's your decision. Say you're a 7th level Wild Mage. You can do 7 die 3 plus 7. With the surge, moving it up or down with the level variation. And that damage is to yourself. So 7 die 3, what's the average? We'll just say 214 plus 7. Say you do 20 points of damage to yourself with that spell. That energy and the damage you take to yourself then gets projected out on your target and does that number of die 4s of damage. So you did 20 die 4 on your target. It's a Wild Mage only spell. It's an example of doing a lot of damage to yourself. Now, if you surge that spell and you did all that damage to yourself, the spell, imagine hitting everyone in a 60-foot radius of 20 die 4. Or hitting yourself. You could actually rebound yourself with a surge. There's all different sorts of things.
Don't have many friends.
Wild Magic don't, yeah, because you casted a Detect Magic and it surges. You could theoretically kill your party casting a Detect Magic spell. No, seriously. So that exists, Refix. I would seriously take a look at Wild Mages in in the Player's Handbook 2. You want that damage side effect thing? That's your
Tome of Magic.
Yeah, Tome of Magic too.
Tome of Magic.
Tome of Magic. Thank you, Mark. You're correct.
There's not a lot of
Yes.
not a lot of old Wild Mages.
They don't live that long, and that's I went by it. The Tome of Magic goes over the Wild Mage. There you go.
Fire that burns half as long burns twice as bright.
In theory. So, we're creating the Elementalist. I created the Quasi-Elementalist, which is Lightning and Radiance. Okay? They're very nasty, gets undead. There's still a hole. There still were spells like Ooze, Smoke, Salt that kind of didn't go anywhere. Sadly, the base surge list in 5e is trash. I didn't even know there was a base surge list in 5e, Brian. So I did not know that, man. Learning. So, all right. Back to the Wild Mage real quick. Play the Wild Mage in Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition, and you'll have a blast with her. Right? Her name's Nira, Brian, correct? Wild Mage is a sorcerer in 5e. Of course. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, play Nira in Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. They added a couple, and play her as an NPC. It's cool. It's fun. All right. Para is all the crap in Elementals. Yes, she is awesome, Brian. That didn't fit. So, Smoke, Crystal, all that stuff. All gets lumped into the Para Elementalist, the 6 Elementalist. Tim came up with a bunch of spells. Customized. Of course, I had to tone down the levels on them a little bit. Raise the levels. But here you go. 11 spells made the cut for Para Elementalist. Let me give you an example of one. Spray of Sodium, 3rd level. Creates a linear spray of sodium that shoots 20 foot from the start point within range. The sodium is a gooey metallic mineral that reacts violently with water. Beings that get coated with it will begin to burn 1 to 3 rounds after being struck by the sodium, taking 2 die 6 of fire damage per round and burning for 1 round for every 2 levels of the caster. If any water is introduced to the burning sodium, it explodes into a superheated ball. It's only 5 foot diameter, but it does it does blast damage to them as well. So cool spell Tim created. Spray of Sodium. A basic spell that you would think This is a role-playing spell, Tim. Purify
I
Ore.
also I
Yeah.
have to say I was inspired by something, so it's not
What were you
it was
inspired by?
inspired by the orange dragon in the Dragon magazine. 'cause
Purple and orange and yellow.
One of them breathes sodium,
Yes, it
and
does.
so it has certain reactions. So I kind of
That's okay.
had the reactions similar in effect.
Brilliant idea.
So
Purify Ore. This is a second-level spell Tim created. Now, think of the uses of this. By the use of the spell, the caster causes a specific content of ore to liquefy and sweat out of the ore and congeal back to pure form. The spell earns great respect amongst dwarves and metalworkers as well as alchemists. And that spell basically takes out the slag out of a mined metal for you, correct?
yeah. So
Brilliant
instead of
spell.
having to do the whole smelting process, you just extract all the specific metal you want.
Brilliant spell, non-combative, great idea. Okay. Let me do
Finally,
one.
that adamantium is.
Another one like that. Kind of. Think about getting hit by this, guys, with fighters. Oxidized metal, 3rd level. Range is 50 foot plus 5 foot per level. Caster shoots a concentrated stream of minerals that are very active with metals. This treat is a slow-acting rust monster effect spread over 3 rounds. So basically, yeah, that's a cool one as well. Para-elementalist spell that Tim created as well. So, and it goes on. We have 11 of these spells that I approved. A couple of these were redundant, and 1 or 2 are quasi and not para. But he did a great job with it. Their key, all right, the key spell of the Para-Elementalist is called Crystalline Missiles. I'll go over this one last. 2nd level, this is kind of like their magic missile. It creates sharp crystalline missiles that shoot forth and strike their target. The caster creates 1 missile per level and can divide the missiles amongst 1 target for every 3 levels. Damage is 1d4 per missile. That's kind of like their magic missile spell. So, and he did, yes, well, it doesn't say anything about magical. I'm assuming magic armor and that oxidized would get a save, percent save, just like a rust monster effect. Yeah, absolutely. So, Rethix is paranoid about rust monsters, and there's only 3 para-elementalists in our game, so you don't have to worry.
Bronze plate mail.
Bronze plate mail, absolutely. Or leather armor or anything like that. So, Mark, you can't think of any other spells, man?
No, I mean, and this is where the type of stuff that I do kind of differs, is I'm more about making custom magic items.
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
And doing custom spells.
All right. I don't want to offend anyone with this spell. Alan created this one. This is a role play spell only, guys. I want you to listen to the reading because it counts both sexes. All right. This was created by Kroger Blackrock, the illusionist thief in Greyhawk and the Iron Brigade. Everyone knows that Tim's dad, John's halfling Petronius, the druid thief, and Kroger don't like each other, or they have this love-hate relationship. Here we go. Kroger's buxom bimbos. Okay? It's 4th level. The duration is 1 hour per level. Air effects 1 person. This spell enables the illusionist to create semi-real phantasms of comely buxom women or muscular men. Okay? It's both. All right? 1 woman per man or of easy virtue may be created for every 3 levels of the illusionist's experience. The illusionist points at himself and another, and the spectral individuals appear immediately, lavishing much attention on the recipient. Okay? They're uncommonly good-looking, and what Kroger does is, if Petronius is around, Petronius gets all these wild dogs that goes after, in town, and he charms them and makes them go after Kroger. This is the halfling druid. That's what he does to the illusionist. Well, the illusionist, in return, when Petronius is walking around town, he casts this spell and has all these women standing all around him, fawning over him. Okay, that's what the spell is. All right, guys. Yes. So that's a role play thing, man. So. But it does say if one is killed, it comes back as an illusionary, very pretty phantasm, but will no longer desire to please. It will constantly whine and complain about why the recipient let it die, if the recipient still loved them, if the recipient killed it because they looked fat, etc. Okay, so it's a role play thing, guys. All right, so that's a completely unique spell done by Alan. Pretty funny. So anybody's running Rust monsters from the running Rust monsters from the group. You mean defensively? Bring a lot of iron spikes with you. Okay.
Yep.
Iron spikes are the best thing. Drop a couple.
Just drop them as it's running because they're sniffing for food.
Range.
It's like an animal.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You like that, Naz? You like that spell? That was completely done by Alan. Ball bearings roll better, but I'll say this: arrows are the best things against Rust monsters. Range spells, magic missiles, arrows. Stay away. Okay. Little DM's cheating there. All right, Alan. 2 more spells I want to go over. These are cool. Iron, yeah, anything that is throw away iron of some sort, get them to consume it. They will stop immediately and consume the stuff. So, like I said, iron spikes.
Gotta have enough because
a shovel.
If your metal smells good, if your armor smells better than this little teeny pile, a couple spikes, you need to have a good dozen.
Get your arrows out. Get your heavy crossbows out. Right. Get your magic missiles out, and target the crap out of those things immediately. Yes, absolutely. All right. Alan has Lillian, the specialty druid of Rolthane Ralphil. If you guys watched the adventure where we went into the Defiled Glades, the group, the Defiled Glades Reclaimers, she has all these spells.
Hey, I gotta run, man. I'm sorry.
Tim. Well, all right. Let's talk about the 27th, everyone. Saturday night, the 27th. Tim is running his City State of the Invincible Overlord campaign with all of us old school players. Saturday night, the next Saturday from this one coming up, and we're streaming it. And he's DMing in the basement. We'll have terrain, everything set up. Old school characters, his campaigns. I cannot wait for it. Anything you want to say before you get a run about it?
Nope. You got it.
It's going to be a blast. Tim's got to run. See you, man. Thanks for hopping on. I'll leave Mark and me here.
Yep. See you, Tim.
Yep. So, let me take that off too. Okay. Now, some of the sap spells are great. Yes. I cannot wait for that. That's one of the big announcements. I got another one. I got multiple big announcements, guys, including the giveaway, which we showed. The giveaway for Thursday is right behind me. You can see it for anyone who's hopped on that's new. 3 of them, 2 to subs, 1 to followers. They create all these sap spells, Amber Prison and all this stuff. So he created a healing spell based on the sap. First level, Sealing Sap. This is a druidic spell. Rolthane Ralphil Druids. This spell requires fresh sap from a tree. When the spell is partially sets the sap, giving it consistency similar to gel. When applied to open wounds, it will heal them, preventing any further damage due to blood loss and healing. Die 4 points of damage. Basically, the sap is being used as a healing ointment. It also binds wounds, so there's no bleeding effect. It stops, our favorite wounding weapons. It stops all that. Healing sap is 3rd level, and this one is it does a little more healing. It does 3 die 4 points of damage on it. So these are created as sap spells for Rolthane Ralphil that Alan created. Really cool idea. I let him run with it. So he got the healing sap and the sealing sap spells. Neat stuff. So, anyone have any other questions? I got a couple more to go over. But Thieves Guild rules, yeah. So I can't wait till that Thursday, that Saturday night. Mark has a Druid, Greenleaf, and her husband, Panul Fighter Mage, right?
Yep.
They're going to be in. I have Dervilia, the Cavalier, and I have Kixano, Fighter Clark Mage. Walt has Roscoe, Fighter Thief, Dwarf, and Horton, Straight Thief. And there's 4 thieves in that group with the 2 NPCs, Ulrich and Andrus. What a great fun night that's going to be. Tim's already prepping it up. I'm putting the figures together for it. I'm putting I'll get the terrain out when it's ready to go. And that's going to be a great Saturday night special. I know it goes up against Luke Gygax's thing that's going on, but hey, it's, It's going to be some night. So
We're going to play regardless anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Sure. Like I said, I am. We are about sharing. I will give you guys anything anyone wants here. Roscoe was your bard. That's ironic, Naz. That's so funny. Absolutely hysterical. All right, here's another spell I created. We were limited. Air Elementalists needed spells, and it needed a really super high spell. This has never been cast in the campaign. I created this one. Called Tornado. 9th level. Range is 40 foot per level. Duration's 5 rounds max. Area effect 30 foot width by 3 times the level length foot. Okay, so if you are 18th level, you have to be to cast this. It's a 540 foot swath, 30 foot wide, right? This spell summons an unintelligent major tornado. It will move in a line from the initial summoning at a rate of 20 inches. That's 200 foot per round. All creatures in its path must save versus spells or suffer 15 to 90 points of damage and be rendered unconscious for 4 to 24 rounds. All creatures under 5 hit dice are killed instantly with no saving throw. Those that fail their save by 3 or more are also killed instantly. 9th level, air elementalist only spell Tornado. If it gets cast in the campaign, it's bad news for whoever it's getting cast
Very
on.
bad news.
Right, but it filled a hole that I had in the high level air elementalist list. Added that spell. All right. See, there's not that many, guys. There's not many over 39 years. At most, 1 spell per level, 1 spell per year, almost maybe.
Yeah.
There are so many spells out there in references in books, in the Great Net spell book, in the Great Net Wild Mage Libram book, in the Necromancer, the Complete Necromancer book. They're spells. To find spells that aren't unique to what we're doing is tough. But my guys came up with some great ideas, some unique stuff. I think I have one more to go over, and then we can do some more announcements. All right, I'm going to do it. I said this one before. Does everyone know what it is when a dog scratches its butt across the carpet, right? What we call that. It's a joke. It's called Heine spiders, right? It's a joke going back to the surfer days down the shore.
Yep.
Well, it's a 6th level mage spell, and if you fail your save, it's mass area effect. You all get that awful itching sense, and you got to get down and scratch your ass basically on the ground. All right, that's a mass spell, 6th level. 1 person in the campaign has it. It's Mistus. She has the spell. She cast it yet? I don't think she still cast it. It was used by an evil.
She's cast it twice. I think.
She cast it twice.
Yep.
Yeah. Nah, it's me certain my territory. An evil mage. I can't even remember the mage that had it, and had a scroll of it, and she got it, and so that's it. That's only that was a joke spell. It's a 40-foot radius area effect, way bigger than a fireball. A friend or foe in that area, and you need a saving throw in the gates. So, but yeah, hemorrhage, exactly, Refix. You got the idea.
It's like giving everybody in 40-foot radius hemorrhoids.
Because it was one of those jokes when you're, college surfer dude era, you got it. So, but you get the idea that a lot of them are serious, a lot of them are role play, a lot of them are just created out of thin air and thought up, and that's part of being in my opinion, and Mark probably agrees too. Well, yeah. Preparation H is the name of a character, Naz. But you didn't know that. And Anusol. It was the name of a guy named Gary Scharf. His dwarf fighter was named Preparation H. Prep for short, just so you know. That's what he named him, not me. Back in the college days, everyone going to, it used to be called Glassboro College back then, Rowan University, now in South Jersey. You get the idea. So, Mark will agree with me on this, hopefully. Listen to your players. They come up with a great idea. Run with it, right?
Yep.
So just like what happened with your one player, he wanted to change over from fighter to a shield thane. A great thing. Listen to the ideas that your players bring to you. We're still playtesting all sorts of things. We're playtesting the Greyhawk Mage. If I can ever get Alan back on the show, we're going to talk about that class. It's kind of interesting. If you've ever played, oh my gosh, The one I like going. Oh man, I can't even remember what it was called. The computer game where you go and you basically become the savior of the world of Feneldrin or whatever. Oh, it's been that long. There's like a Greyhawk mage type. It's like a warrior mage type in that, and so yeah.
Well,
So I said, let's start playing at my house so we can drink. That's so funny, Jeff. Absolutely. She always got those machines running now in the background. So, Mark, anything between the bard and spells that you want to discuss? Characters, ideas.
no, I mean, the big thing about bards, like I said early on, a lot of it is really it has a proper place in the game itself. There's lots of variations. I honestly think that the 1E variation that is out there, it's strange. It probably should have its own actual class. It works for us. It's not going to work for everybody.
Right. Absolutely.
The concept of it is supposed to be that utility character, jack of all trades, master of none, sort of an attitude.
And Unearthed Arcana kind of screwed that up with the specialization.
Yep. Yeah.
That kind of
if you played first edition bards, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because now they got weapon specialization and they're pretty nasty fighters, even though they go up to 7th level. 7th level fighter table, that goes pretty good compared to priest, it's pretty
Absolutely.
good. So they're pretty good fighters in our campaign.
I mean, I love the class. Whatever kind of twist it is that you like as far as it's concerned, the class itself lended it to be more of a true musician. But, Brian said it and a few others. You don't have to be necessarily musically inclined if you don't want it to be. You could have, all sorts of different races potentially would have different ways of either telling stories or legends or, things of that sort. So have fun with the class. I mean, it's really a great utility character to have.
And I'm telling you, the Diarmid's Last Jest is a must if you're old school. It's so cool, and it's so you can if you're DMing and you throw, hey, gather around. You have an evil bard or a cat neutral bard that gets paid, and he gathers the group around and tells the story. And then just the shock value of that happening. And you ever laugh so hard it hurts? I mean, imagine laughing yourself to death. So it's a great little thing to throw on them, and I recommend it. Like I said, it's in Dragon 60. One of the best. It's on pages 48 and 49. One of the best dragons, in my opinion, of all time. So we went through a lot tonight. We went through the bard and all the different spell types, and we're still playtesting the song bard. We went over some custom spells. Just remember balance, and remember reason, balance. Don't duplicate something that exists. And I guarantee you, because 5e seems to be lacking a massive amount of spells. Hey, Taco is going to be playing in my game out in Gen Con on Thursday with Carlos Lacing and me. So good to see you on, Taco. Once again, thanks. And see that thing behind? We're giving that away Thursday. You as a sub got 2 shots to. Yes, so pumped for everything out in Gen Con. Mark, who's on? Mark and I have our own room at the Greyhawk Hostel. So with 2 other gentlemen. So yes, we are at least we will be there. Absolutely. Cannot wait. All right. Bards are good. Have fun with it, just like anything else. Develop your own campaign, develop your own game the way you want to. Okay. But I guarantee you there's a lot of spells that are lacking in spots, particularly variety of type. I hear this a lot. I hear fireballs going off all the time when I'm watching. Taco, thanks. That popped us close, really close to another special hero point for Thursday. But thank you so very much, man. Really appreciate it. Awesome. We I hear all I hear are fireballs going off whenever I watch other streams. So I think spells were this is my opinion because I think spells were limited 5e. Man, I love having all the different elementalist spells. Mark, it really throws in a different flavor, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it lets your players have some imagination as well to how they're using stuff.
Yeah.
And on top of the fact that we allow for a lot of role-playing kinds of effects. When you really start thinking about it, not everything is a damaging. A lot of D&D obviously is, like murder mystery, so to speak. And so you want to have different things that you can cast. And granted, ours is a little bit different simply because of the fact that it's a memorization. It's you pre-choose spells before the adventure begins. In traditional D&D.
But we do continue, and I'll tell you how we've addressed that a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, essentially, it causes your players to think a little bit more about what it is that they want to choose as far as spells are concerned, or the types of characters it is that they want to play. And it does give that variety. It gives that, once again, as we always talk about, game balance. It's if you had, like, for instance, we were talking about wild mages earlier. If you had every magic user had the ability to cast, Rodley's Wild Bolt
or Legolas Wild Ball,
yeah, things along those lines, you'd never stop.
Right. That's why I love our elementalists. There's some unique flavor. I love our specialty priests, which we talked about evil ones last week. Their spells unique to Eas. Their spells unique to every different deity, and that creates a lot of flavor. And that's what I would just say. And when you're trying to create spells as well. What I have done is, we've added extra spell slot as a free proficiency. We merged 3rd edition feats into our proficiency system, so they get a bonus spell slot. And I give out a lot of magic items that give you bonus spell slots as well. So our mages tend to have more spell slots than your average 1E, 2E spellcaster gets. Plus, like, elementalists start with a bonus first, wild mages get a bonus first, second, third. There's all different sorts of ways you can pump up the amount of spells. So you go, I cast my spells and I'm done. So there's a way of doing it. You just got to do it, once again, with balance. You don't want to create something crazy out there. No, I don't, Celestian. And I've been thinking about it, but most mages have high intelligence. I prefer going the route of, and this is what we do. If you're a straight mage, not a multi-class, you get extra spell slot for free, which gives you, once you get a 2nd level spell, your extra spell slot can be 1 level lower than the highest level. So say you have 3 first, 2 second, 1 third to be, it's 4-2-1, right at 5th, 4-2-1.
4-2-1.
You now have 4-3-1 or 5-2-1. Okay. You can also take the extra spell slot as a feat if you want. Anyone can take that. Clerics, mages, multi-classes, to get that ability. And so that adds a lot of flexibility in lieu of taking a weapon slot, or in lieu of taking two-fisted fighting, in lieu of taking whatever, monkey grip, whatever. It's part of that system we have. I think we need to do another show after Gen Con on proficiencies again. We should really go over how we do this stuff. So we don't do the bonus to mages for high intelligence, but I give out a lot of robes, bracers, and stuff like that. That's a good idea, though, Mike. It's a real good idea. So I want to show you something real quick. So, real quick here. This is my Gen Con binder. So Tabitha, the one she's going to be actually featured in the Earth Journal this month. Tabitha is a 4-3 fighter mage. I've given her, she has a spellcaster's robe, base armor class 6, +1 on saves versus magic. So that could be spells, it could be wands, or whatever. Bonus 2nd level spell for that robe. Kind of how I do things that boost up a little bit. That's a good way to do it too. Absolutely, Mike. Great idea. I know for us that I don't know. I kind of like keeping it just to druids and clerics, just the way we do things. But it would work. It would work. Absolutely. I definitely, like I said, everyone's got their little tricks of the trade that they do, and that would be a good way to go.
We
Definitely.
choose it for honestly for balance purposes, because if you did a lot of that,
Yeah.
have characters that, I mean, mages would definitely rule the world, and part of what makes them balanced is the fact that they have to take time to rest and memorize and lose stuff, and so that's part of the reason why we do what we do.
I'll check that out, Mike. Very cool. Definitely. Awesome. I'll definitely check that out, because I'm assuming it's not as super powerful. Oh, that's not much at all. Wow. Is that a 2? I'm assuming. Wow, that's probably is that a 1E 2E, Mike? That's not bad at all, man. So
Yeah.
16,
But
17.
Merc is beginning two firsts and a second in ours, maybe 2 seconds. If they have
No, 2 seconds is 19 though. So you're
yeah.
starting with
Well, if you have
Grails.
a Grail,
Yeah.
first,
Very rarely do we have that to start out with. That's a very basic, a very limited. That's cool. Definitely a good idea. So announcements, Mark. What do you got going on tomorrow night?
So we are going to be doing the continuation of Horde of the Dragon Queen. Right now, they are back at the Raiders camp and exploring the cave. So for those of you that have sat in on where we've gone since the inception of it, when we did our charity stream, the characters are in the midst of examining the cave. They managed to save Leosin, the monk, Skagit's favorite, and who has ventured onto Crit Wall to have a discussion with Railstone Gravis about stuff, and then subsequently is asking the party to go reinvestigate the cave and see what they can find, and then join him in Crit Wall. So, just a continuation of that. There will be, I will tell you, there will be a little bit of maintenance, because the last time that we played, a lot of our players were missing. And so there's a little bit of lag over time from Slat, just to do treasure picks and things of that nature. And then subsequently we'll be turning over to Horde of the Dragon Queen.
So probably from 6 to like 6:30, 6:45, maybe a little maintenance stuff. But maintenance stuff is fine. It's part of the game.
Yep.
You know, everyone knows that, and that's cool. I will be on moderating as much as possible, and I look forward to it, considering that we didn't go last Thursday. It's good to get a game on. So that's awesome, Mark. And then you are playing 2 weeks from now, probably?
Yes.
And that's the Monday before Gen Con.
Correct.
All right. Cool. Excellent. So Mark's on 2 more times this month with his Ohio group, which is fantastic. So we're going to continue on Thursday, and it's kind of good that we kind of skipped a week, because everyone will be back. We're missing a lot of people, and I was going to throw in some of the third guys outside, but I don't have to do that now. So we're going to continue the Hidden Temple of Erythanol, and then the week after that, I have a couple people that are going to be away on vacations. I'm going to stop. I'm going to do a one-nighter before Gen Con, and that Thursday before, I think I'm going to do it, and then maybe go back to it right before the Gen. No, I'll be gone on the Gen Con thing, because I'll be leaving on Wednesday. So we may do a one-nighter in 2 weeks, and then go back to finish Erythanol after Gen Con. But here's some announcements. Okay, everyone knows what's going on. Taco, it's not up to me. It's up to Shane and Bree. If that happens, I am 50-50 on whether I'm bringing my laptop or not, because I want to record it at minimum, because if you record the session, then you could always premiere it, right? So I'm not sure. It's a good question, but Carlos wants a record of, and remember, we have 8 hours of gaming on Thursday at Gen Con, but he says we could be in a really bad spot where it's so loud that you're not going to be able to hear anything. So we'll see. I'm 50-50 now whether I want to bring this equipment out with me. It's a lot more to carry. I'm shipping stuff to Mark's house, terrain-wise. Hey, Goblin Town, thank you so very much. Really appreciate it. I'm shipping stuff to Mark's house for my terrain. I'm bringing some of my older terrain, because I don't, and I'm bringing all plastic figures. I'm not bringing any of the metal minis that are painted. I'm bringing all plastic minis to represent the characters and all. It'll be cool. So but we'll have plenty of stuff there. Plus, I'll have this actual box. This one's mine. I got 4 of these. They're giving away 3 on Thursday night for Kerosene Stratagem. Awesome stuff for travel. 2 to subscribers, 1 to a follower on Thursday night. It's got a little heft to it, but I'm excited about that. Plus, like I said, Stratagem is probably going to be at the Greyhawk house while I'm DMing. He's going to be giving away goodies there as well. So, no, Taco, I have a PC. It's a lot to set up, man, with XSplit, and it's all that embedding and all. I can't take this and put it on our PC. I have to build it all. It's a nightmare. All the way XSplit Broadcaster works. Maybe OBS is simpler, but I'm an XSplit guy. But I have it all on my laptop. I just got to figure out if I want to bring it out with me. Have something else. Odds are I'm going to do it, but absolutely. But it's up to them whether I stream or not. I'm their guest, so. They may stream it to their channel, which I'm fine with. If I can still just record it. So, yep. All right, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Really do. So, that's Thursday. I got a big next Sunday. Let's make this the largest Gabbin ever, bigger than our 50th celebration. Everyone knows who's coming on, right? Who's coming on next Sunday? I have the very, very special guest next Sunday. A legend in the game. Yeah, no Joe. Leonard Lakofka is coming on. I talked to him again today. He has all these things he's working on. I said, Len, just relax, man. You'll see. Leonard Lakofka will be, no lie here. Leonard Lakofka will be my special guest. Anna is going to come on and help. Anna and Leonard have a relationship. We've already talked. We already zoomed in. It works. Marco's welcome to come on as well. And we're going to have an in-depth discussion for 2 hours of celebrating Leonard's achievements to the game. I already have it all built. I'm already ready to go. I'm going to say this. There's a 1 in 4 chance that we will have someone who's even a bigger name than Len stopping in on 1 in 4 on Zoom to say, hey, Leonard, thanks for everything. Congratulations. As big as the name gets in the gaming world today, they said they're going to make the attempt, but they currently have another real world life commitment. We'll see. Yes. I'm excited about it, but having Leonard enough is big enough. So, yes, I cannot wait to discuss Bone Hill with him, Assassin's Knot, Deep Dwarven Delve, the Archer, the Deathmaster, the Set Traps, out on the from the what do you call it? Lehman's Tiny Huts, all that stuff. Oh, he loves talking about Liaison Danger Roost war game stuff. Gaetano, he was talking about it in depth. About the old days in the 60s when that's what they were doing in Wargaming. And he was playing, he was playing the one board game, a ton of it, and he was a ranked member of that, and he ran that whole organization. He talked about all that, definitely. So this is, yes, no disrespect to Anna, Carlos, Will, anyone else. This is probably the biggest guest we have had. Diplomacy, that's it. Yes, Gaetano. This is the biggest guest I've had to date on Gabbin at 55. Please pass the word, spread the word. I'm going to be doing a lot of ads for it, probably starting tomorrow to get the word out. 7:30 Eastern next Sunday. I want him to feel welcome and at home, and all these people watching. I want to make it our largest show ever on our channel to date. Let's hope for it. He's been very, very accommodating. He's having fun with it. Thank you. Yes, definitely. 7:30 to 9:30, Len will be on. 2 days earlier, Anna does not know about this. Mark does not know about this. We have a Facebook group here called the Philly Old School Gamers that I'm a member of. Gaetano, you remember that one? Bill the Master Crafter is a member of it, and Walt, our other players, a member of it. And I think that's it. So this is what's happening. Have a little get together with this group because someone's going to be back in town. So Alan Grow, the Grow Dog, if everyone knows his site and knows Alan, Alan will be back home where he grew up in South Jersey. He's down the shore now, and he's coming back Friday. I am having a get-together at the Death of the Fox down the road, which is it's a beer brewery down the street. Alan is coming here with a bunch of the Philly old school gamers next Friday, and Alan's DMing in my basement next Friday. Okay, so I got Alan. Yes, Alan Grow is coming to the actual Grow Dog himself, one of the biggest lore masters of all of Greyhawk, is coming. Now, I don't think we'll be streaming it. I may record it, and then with everyone's permission who's there, because they're not part of the regular group, I may premiere it down the road. But I am excited. I'm going to be playing in the game. The Grow Dog, yes, absolutely a huge thing. And it's kind of a surprise. No one knows about it unless you're a member of that. It's a closed Facebook group. But yes, that finalized today. And I got some big names there. Some of the other people that Alan's familiar with, friends with. We'll probably have a group of 6 to 8 players. I'm looking forward to it. And he's going to run something that's about 4 hours long. That'll start around 7 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, but I don't feel comfortable saying, hey, can we stream this to him? But we're playing that, so that's going to be super cool. So that happens 2 days before Leonard, so I got to book the weekend. And then the week after that, please, everyone, on the 27th, Saturday night, that'll be the Saturday before Gen Con. Tim, you're going to see Tim DMing, which I think is going to be, for some of you who are fans of Tim, his craziness, I loved, and I know Mark did too, playing in this campaign. It's not Greyhawk, but it's Judges Guild, the city-state of the Invincible Overlord, the Wilder Lands setting. He's got it's just freaking awesome. And it gives me a chance to play my old school Cavalier Dervillia, my Fighter Clark Mage Kixano. I'm so excited about that. And that's our Saturday night special for this month. Yes, Tim is going to be awesome with that.
Yeah.
So that's what we got going on. And then I leave for the Greyhawk House on Wednesday. And then I DM with Carlos Lysing on Tuesday, an adventure I wrote. I half wrote, let me be honest with you, Horror in the Hools. So you know exactly where it takes place. And that's an 8-hour long. I do the first 4 hours. Carlos does the second 4. And then I believe I'm scheduled to game at the Greyhawk House either Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. And I'll run my part again there, the 4 hours with it, with in my style, 1E2E tabletop. So we'll have some fun with that too. What night is La Kafka? A week from tonight, Sunday night, the 21st. 1 week from tonight, 7:30 Eastern to 9:30 Eastern. Gabbin number 55. It's called Leonard Lakofka, A Celebration. Sorry, Mike. Sorry to hear that. But hey, man, if you can lurk, that's great. Yes, a week from tonight is Leonard. Biggest to date. Thanks. It's been a blast, guys. Once again, my apologies for Thursday. But real life stuff happens. I think it's only the first time it's happened in a year that we actually scheduled something and it didn't go off. Yeah. So, Mark, what do you have in closing, man? And then we'll call it an evening.
Just once again, everybody out there, you humble us so much by joining and listening to two old curmudgeons like Jay and me just talk about something that we've loved so much, that we've been playing for 40 years. And honestly, we don't care what it is that you play, just play, enjoy yourselves. If we're able to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, we're more than happy to help. So
I'm going to have Mark to make this decision. So I'm going to have a giveaway for the. Look at that! So Wu-Tang, thanks, man. I know you are one of the man people over there at Greyhawk Channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. That made you eligible for this. We're giving away 2 of these on Thursday nights. Mastercraft Atlas, one more time, great item for travel. I mean, it's perfect for me. Put it right in my suitcase. I got all the tiles I need. My part's above ground. Carlos's part's below ground. I got all the stuff I need. Stratagem is a great sponsor. Please note we have Reaper just joined us as a sponsor a week and a half ago, and Miniature Bowling Authority has been my #1 sponsor. I know Stratagem will be at Gen Con, no booth, but Colin, their sales rep, is planning to come over to the Greyhawk hostel when I'm DMing to give away a bunch of goodies. So that's a cool thing. Thank you. Oh, it was Taco.
Yeah,
Oh, Taco. I'm
just-
sorry. See, it pops up and it's that's awesome, man. That's Taco. Thanks, man. Thank you so very much. And then also, Miniature Bowling Authority is going to be at Gen Con showing the Harbor Town. We will have a lot of Harbor Town terrain. We're going to use it in Harby. I may be using it, and Michael Baton is missing at this point. So we'll have a whole bunch of that terrain that's being showed at Gen Con. Can't wait for that stuff to come. And Reaper, we got our first mass shipment of Reaper stuff in. We have a lot of figures to paint, a lot of other things going on with Reaper. Can't wait to show you all the Reaper stuff. That Reaper's joined us as our 3rd sponsor and our tabletop. I love the company. We probably have I don't know if we have 1,000 Reaper minis, but we got to have in the massive hundreds Reaper minis, hundreds of them. And I know Jeff uses Reaper too for your game as well.
Yep.
So that's I think about what we have going on. Oh, the question is this. Mark, if I am DMing at the Greyhawk hostel, what gift should I give to the best player of the night?
Oh, wow.
Now, I have 2 options. I have Lord Gazumba shirts, or I have this little gem, which is a gift from Stratagem. It's a Cup of Illusion. It's one of those shaking dice cups with 5 sets of dice in it. So
To be perfectly honest, why don't you do a 1 and a 2? Do a first.
I may. So, yeah, Brian, you're gonna have yes. I'm bringing mouse pads too. I gotta bring all my stuff. But yeah, I have a lot of good giveaways. So, that'll be for the Greyhawk House. I'll have stuff as well. I'm trying to get the word out there. Thanks, guys. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening again. Please, shirts. I have the shirts. I'm going to be giving them out. I have a bunch of them. I have one. Mark, I have a black. They sent me the wrong color. So I'm sorry, you're going to get a black. Okay.
Black
You and
fine.
Carlos are getting blacks for there.
That'll
So
work.
I have shirts. I'm going to give out as many shirts as I can to all the key people there. And thank you all. Thanks for everything. Thanks for a great night. So, see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, EDT for Mark runs 6 to 9. I'm on Thursday at 7:30. Len's on next Sunday, 7:30. Who knows? We'll find out about Friday night with the Grow Dog, and I hope everyone has a good one. What should we do besides our NBA one? Which other one should we do? Should we do the Stratagem one, or should we do the Reaper one?
Let's do the Reaper one.
Reaper first, NBA second. Have a good one, guys. See you soon.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate support tonight. Really do. Had a blast. everyone have a great night. See you tomorrow night.